manifest it. What is the difference between you with visions at night or whatever day you put your head down, you are visionalizing cities, sometimes even when you are awake, and that which also who very much does not share his way, but he's also have the same act of nighttime. His body is lying there and spiritually he's somewhere else and doing all sort of things, whether he's doing harmful things or whichever things, they go out and do that. There's a difference. There's no difference. Because in actuality, we also know one thing, that the ways of the what the Bible will refer as the devil and his entourage, they are angels who fell. Their character, they are spirit, they also are spirit, and they do spiritual things, and they move in spirit ways. So are the things of God. It's also a spirit. God is spirit. And so if Angel Gabriel is on the side of God, he's also a spirit. His actions and the things he does is the same thing that the spirits that you consider as devils also do. It's just that you think they do use theirs in evil purposes, and Angel Gabriel uses his for a good purpose. You have said that. The truth to it, nobody knows. Sometimes God sends his own angels that we consider to be good to do monstrous and some evil things. As long as God says so, then it's fine, isn't it? We give power into certain roles without, considering the consequences or considering what must be, looked into in order to lead one to sort of take that decisions. But then again, it says here, you'll be blessed if you follow through. It's not if you don't follow through, you're going to be blessed. No, the conditions are there. God loves you with conditions. That is what I want you to know. God, Jehovah, he loves you with conditions, not without condition. In fact, God will love you more if conditions are there. But if condition is not there, you lie. There's no lie. There's no love from God for you. Go out there and tell people that. Don't tell somebody that God loves you without condition, to make the person's head swell up and rush to become a Christian, and later realize that there are conditions. Why are you making life terrible for that person? Why didn't you say the truth? Worship God in truth and honesty. That's what he seeks. You go out and you're lying to people, you're winning people's heart, you're winning souls, but you're winning souls, the wrong souls. As to their willingness matters to you. No, it doesn't matter to you. If it does matter to you, their willingness matter to you. You would consider the statement that you are putting out there. You're persuading people, lying to people to get them into the faith. Oh, Paul says that. What Paul says? Forget about what Paul says. Paul isn't God. Paul says that, there are people who even lie and do all that. Remember, it also says that in the same Matthews, that those who will say, Lord, Lord, will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Why? They will not enter in because they do these things and they thought they lied and they do that and they do that. And even though they were saying, Lord, Lord, they were healing, they were doing all those things. But they were people of lawlessness, evil-centered people, so they will not come close to him. Let's say heaven is there and Jesus' promise is true. You adding all these things together, you won't even think the way you be thinking. Now let me move on to in verse 58. It says, if you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God, then the Lord will bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary plagues, great and what? Extraordinary plagues, great and prolonged plagues, and serious and prolonged sickness. 60. Moreover, he will bring back on you all the diseases of Egypt, which you were afraid, and they shall cling to you. You see, conditions are there. The plagues of Egypt, he will bring more, even be worse. Is that not what has come? That's what you should rather think. If you look at conditions of life today, you ask yourself that maybe that is what is even there. Others are thinking along that line, and they are thinking right. If this is what they believe, then that is what is happening then. You know? I mean, these things, it's not a hidden secret. You go out there, and I'm out there, I'm telling people God loves you unconditionally just to get them to do something which they know that it is not the truth. Why do you have to do that? Why should you tell me that God loves me unconditionally, knowing that He loves me with condition? He loves me only with condition. Oh, Jesus Christ died for you, so unconditionally He loves you. Listen to the videos. I mean, work it together. Think it through again before you set yourself out there. If you think you are qualified to convince people and say the book is harmoniously and the story is clicking and you've got a story to tell people, think it through. Nobody has got any story to tell anybody. Nobody has got any gospel to say to anybody. They have it. Think it through before you approach it. Because the questions that are coming to you, you can't take it. The questions you don't have answers for. I know that in my life, my sincerity in this thing here, that what I do here, or what I'm trying to put out there, is very much something that I can do, because it is more clear and obvious to me the construedness of the whole thing, rather than the perfection and the harmoniosity of it. I don't see any harmony here. In 29, it says, God renews His promises to Israel. In verse 11, your little ones and your wives, also the stranger who is in your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, that you may enter into covenant with the Lord your God, and into His oath which the Lord your God makes with you today, that He may establish you today as a people for Himself, and that He may be God to you, just as He has spoken to you, and just as He has sworn to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I make this covenant and this oath not with you alone, but with Him who stands here with us today before the Lord our God, as well as with Him who is not here with us today. For you know that we dwelt in the land of Egypt, and that we came through the nations which you passed by. For those who are there today, and those who were there at that time, and those who are even not there, covenant and oath, you have to swear. So even the ancestors have even sworn an oath that has covered all of us. We have to find ways to disprove all these things and to free ourselves from whatever it is that they made us swearing to. It may not necessarily be being Jehovah. I mean, do you know the God I worship? Do I know the God you serve? Do I know your belief state? Do I really have a clear understanding? Do I take time, or have I heard your true presentation for me to know your thoughts and your view of God, of what God is, the idea of God, in order for me to conclude whether it is the same Jehovah? We know there are diverse approach of God. So many people, ideas are different. The ideas of the method is different from the idea of the Roman or the Pentecost and all that. They have different shapes for God, different imaginations of God, different ways of God. The same the diverse approach is there. You can see they don't have the same. They all have differences of the picture, imagination of the God, but they claim it's the same God. They claim it in a different way. They think that their way is right. Everybody, that's how the founders came about. So, I mean, clearly speaking,